Hello everyone! Today our group is going to present our study on how informal processes facilitate the partnership in outsourcing context. We take a case study of Futurify, an early-stage Vietnamese outsourcing vendor. Basically, the theme of our research consists of three main concepts. Firstly, we would evaluate how the partnership between the startup company and its major client has been built based on the formal network concept of Hansen. Secondly, we stress out the issues arise during the working process between both sides, which is originated by language differences. And finally, we also draw on the concept of informal liaison role to demonstrate its importance in addressing problem areas such as conflict of interest, scope, and work routine. Regarding the case, Futurify is an outsourcing provider startup which was established in 2012. Its major client was Company X, which is a Canadian medium-sized firm. The relationship between Futurify and X had been built through the role of Tri, project manager of X. He is also a Vietnamese who lives in Canada. Here are some key events throughout the development of Futurify. In 2010, Tri, who is an employee of X, suggested outsourcing the work to Vietnam, as he has some Vietnamese friends who also work in the IT industry. In 2011, X attempted to run 2 pilot projects. Afterwards, Vietnamese developers worked as freelancers for X. In the middle of 2012, Futurify was established and became the major supplier of X. However, the cooperation between the two companies was based on formal processes and heavily relied on the intermediary role of Tri. In late 2014, Futurify faced a serious crisis with quality control, and it forced the firm to develop a formal working process. Now we would like to focus on the research findings and how they fit in the existing literature on the subject. We argue that existence of informal networks not only substituted formal process when Futurify started its operations, but also partially eliminated all arising challenges through the flexibility of the process. However, it cannot replace formal processes and practices, but rather support them and be instrument for overcoming issues and challenges. Existence of the expatriate on the client side was, with the knowledge of Vietnamese, facilitated better communication and understanding of requirements. On the other hand, it led to high dependence on the interpreter and prevented direct communication between client and project team. Talking about the liaison role, being a Vietnamese, as well as having studied and worked in Canada for 5 years, Tri is able to understand the difference in interest between both X and Futurify. As a result, Tri can take the peacekeeping role to resolve the conflict of interest between both teams. Also, through the informal processes between Tri and Futurify developers, assumptions and requirements were verified, and this helped to avoid misunderstanding on the project scope. There are still some limitations included in our research regarding the subjective viewpoint from the interviewee. Second, due to limitation of distance and time, we did not have a chance to conduct a participant observation on the nature of work between Futurify and X. However, we think it won't be possible either due to confidential agreement between both companies. Apart from these limitations, our study also enables several opportunities for future research. Specifically, we suggest researchers investigate the utility of informal approach in large-scale company. Also, in the context of this case, the informal process was facilitated because the Vietnamese culture seems to avoid direct communication during the work. For future study, we are really interested in evaluating the effectiveness of this method in a different working culture such as Ireland or India.